Charlie giving you Friday's live trading, and I hope you're very well. It's only 20 past 7. I'm just before I get started in about half an hour's time with our swing traders today. I do an all-day session with them every other Friday, and so we do it on Zoom. And so before I get started with them, and then what happens is, just so you know, I press record on this, and then I press pause and come back to this as we work our way through the day. But with the swing traders, obviously, I'm just running constantly with them. And this is the euro dollar. First of all, this is the daily chart as well. So we've had a few indecision candles of late, as you can see this past week. Monday was a nice big up run. Then a couple of dojis and a spinning top there yesterday, but it's sort of held so far. And if I look at some of the other markets, Aussie's been very, very sideways overall. Yes, a down day yesterday, but generally set sideways price action. Kiwi pulled back yesterday, but again, they all had pullback days yesterday, but nothing too much, and they're all sort of bouncing a little bit at least so far. Let's have a look at the pound as well, which was a bit weaker yesterday than the others, but again, that one's sort of held some technical support here at the moment. So I'm keeping an open mind to the euro dollar in that, yes, we can see the potential that maybe this is the start of a more of a pullback, but you also, and because it's come up a lot, but you also have to constantly be thinking about what are traders around the world thinking. So I can tell you right now that traders all around the world are thinking this has got to pull back, yeah, and that's the reality. And even I would have been saying that to our traders when I've been with them this past week or so, thinking, yeah, it's probably due a pullback. But yeah, we naturally will think that, even if I'm not trading that, we'll naturally think that. Um, so yes, it could pull back, and it's had a very good run. But look at this trend line up here. You never know, we might still want to punch up for that. So I'm going to be looking here today, and keeping an open mind to an upside trade. Here's the hourly chart. So I'm just sort of waiting to see if it can get probably above this, maybe this hourly 50, my hourly 20, which is my blue moving average, flatten off. That would be good. And I will be looking at long side trades today. Let's have a look at the 4-hour chart, and then I'll quickly show you my open positions because better disclose those before we get actually started on trading. Okay, the 4-hour chart, I thought it would have been nice for it to come down to the 4-hour 50 yesterday. Didn't quite get there. Let's have a look at the hourly again. Did it get to 200? No, it didn't either. So that's one thing that would have been nice, but never mind. Now, as far as open positions are concerned, just so I can disclose this before we get really into the day. Yes, I have open positions, so I've got 6,400 in euro positions, and actually I shorted the S&P yesterday, so you can just about see that hopefully. So I shorted the S&P last night. Better go and have a look at that one then, hadn't we? Now that one I shorted. The market really started to move on the back of the Biden announcing more tax reforms. And so I shorted it on this little bounce somewhere as we were bouncing here. As you can see, generally it's just sort of holding, so I'm not holding out too much expectation for this now. If it rolls over, fine. It sort of acts as a hedge against my euro longs, because if the stock markets sell off, it's possible that the euro dollar and the currencies, the dollar strengthens. So it may act as a bit of a hedge against that. But anyway, so that's that. I'm not holding out too much there because that really was a trade based on that intraday move, and it's generally held so far. So I'll independently be moving my stops down a bit because I'm not that bothered about this this as a trade. It was just a speculative trade based on, okay, we've got a load of momentum at that point, and we might see some follow through there. So and it's sort of just held, hasn't it? So let's have a look at the daily chart actually. So there we go. It's the daily chart there. Well, no, we'll see. I don't have a particular view on the daily charts there. So I think if I see this starting to come up here today, then I'll cut the position at some point because I'm not bothered about it. Right. Okay. I better press pause and I'll come back to you later. Here. Okay, so as I wanted, the euro is coming up. and I still haven't managed to get in yet because I had to wait for some of the moving average to flatten off here. And so I'm just waiting for a little retracement. If we can get a little pullback, then I'll be getting in on this euro dollar here at some point here this morning. So that's what I said earlier. So we are looking to get in, and so hopefully we can get a small pullback in the not too distant future. Hopefully it doesn't just go straight up. That benefits my existing positions, but doesn't benefit anything I'm doing here today. So we'll fingers crossed. We'll press pause for now. Okay, just back here, and looks like I'm about to get this entry in. I've got the wrong chart up that you can see at the moment. You can only see part of my entire screen. But looking like I'm going to get an entry, and then the stop's going to be down at 22. So it's roughly going to be a 20, maybe a 20 to just over a 20 pip stop, actually, depending if I get filled here. It's all looking that way. Now I've moved everything over. If I drag this across, then I can change the time frame and show you what I'm looking at. There we go. See, do that, and it gets rid of the tickets. Just about got them. Drag that one back over. So it's a band, what I call a band play today. So this morning. So it's a shame that it ran away from me a bit there, but getting a bit of a pullback. I'm not expecting it to literally stop there. It's just at A level, and I'll be placing my stop below here at 22. So I'm giving it plenty of room, considering it's had a good run, and but it's a good enough level to say, right, that will do, just in case. When you're trading, you don't always have to try and be as super precise and get absolutely. You don't know you're absolutely going to get the right level. It could be that could just pull back to this area and then bounce straight back up, and that's why I'll trade off of there. But I'll also know that it could overshoot and pull back further. So I'm position sized accordingly, and so if it's going to be an entry around about there, it's just a bit over 20 pips. So I'm just going to double check my position sizing off screen. So if I put in 22 pips, I'm just calculating that at the moment, saying, yeah, okay, I might be able to put an extra unit in if it comes down a little bit more. And now I'm press play. It's doing its usual thing and just hanging around a little bit. So I'll just press pause for a moment. Okay, just back, and as you can see, we still haven't done the pullback. It was looking like we were getting it. Nope, still couldn't even do that small pullback there. So I'm sitting here, still waiting, and hopefully we'll get a pullback at some point. Okay, just back, and because of the nature of this run, my band is just coming up higher and higher. It's up in the 50s now, so I can't even buy it at the band anymore because I can't use that as my excuse to get long, because just the risk reward is going to be too far out of kilt. The stop's going to be down at 25 actually, so I'm still going to have a stop right down here, and I'm doing that because of the hourly chart. Come out to the hourly. I'm just popping it just below the hourly 50 here, so I'm giving it plenty of room to breathe if it does want to chop around for a few hours, if I get the chance to get in here. So what I've done now is we've got this nice up bar here, so I'm just looking for a bit of a dip down towards my outer band, which is rising up towards price. So if you can do that dip into the 40s, into the 40s, then that's where I'm going to be putting that long in. First target to take something off will be up at this trend line up here, and then I'll explain what I'm going to be doing after that. That's if that happens. But so we're just patiently waiting for that dip still. Got my deal tickets, they're just off screen. I'll bring them over in a second. So still waiting to see if we're going to get below 50 first and get that fill. Okay, the euro's still going. We still didn't do that pullback into the 40s, and so it's still going higher. So it really is moving away from us. But I think that, again, so far today, it's just one of those things that sometimes you have the intent, you want to get into a market, maybe you're putting limit orders in and you're just not getting filled, it's not pulling back for you, and you just have to accept that, okay, it's not been for you then. You have to stay true to your approach and your strategies, whatever your techniques are. and there's going to be times where the market won't quite pull back for you if you're looking for pullbacks, and you just have to accept that that's going to be the case, and that it might pull back at a later time for you, and so you just have to have that patience, basically. And and some trades are going to be like that, and some will work out for you as well. So anyway, I'll press pause for now, and we'll come back to this later. Okay, just back. It's now 1 o'clock, and I've had a training session and a gym session. Come back to this, and so you can see the euros now as I'm speaking has come up. There was no chance for me to get in. I was going to then look for a pullback on the hourly chart, but it never did the band play on that either. So it's just one that got away today. And you can look at a chart and say, oh, I could have got in here or there or whatever. But you have to try and stick to your plan, whatever your plan is. Now, the euro might break out here, but I'm not someone who's going to try and buy this on a breakout, because technically that could get rejected as well. So I'd happily see this breakout. It suits my existing open positions, but if I had have managed to have got in down here this morning, if we had have done that little pullback, then this would have been my first target we've just hit. But alas, not one that got away. And one thing I always say, rather than getting frustrated, is to just say, at least my analysis was correct. And so don't allow yourself to get frustrated if you miss out on a trade and it doesn't let you in. If you're trying to buy on a pullback, just say, well, at least my analysis was good, and give yourself a pat on the back. Because we can always look back and say, oh, I could have just jumped in. But then that's not really following a plan, is it? So that's the way it is. So, I mean, I'll carry on looking at this. It is only 1 o'clock, so I'm not going to finish the video just yet, but it's looking like the market has just got away from me today, and I don't think there'll be anything, but now, this morning, first thing, I was thinking, oh, this is looking like a dead cert for a trade here on the long side. It just goes to show you, doesn't it? So let's see how it gets on with this trend line here. I've been looking at the other currency pairs as well, like Kiwi and the Aussie. They're up, but not to anything like the same degree as the euro. The euro is by far the outperformer amongst those majors there today. That's the Aussie dollar there and the pound. So they're all up, but the euro is, in relative terms, as you can see, having a much stronger day overall. I'm overall, it suits my swing positions, of course, but of course it would have been nice to have got some of this move here today as well, because I would have had that, got in. This was the plan I was talking to the swing traders about. We'd have got in, we'd have run it to here, banked half at this trend channel, and then we would have been looking out to this trend line on the daily charts and seeing if we can hold on to some to see if it could follow through into next week and work its way up to this trend line. So that's what the plan would have been, but alas, not. So we're now going to see whether the euro's going to react to this trend line. So it could still pull back, and I'd still be a buyer on a bit of a pullback, but I don't know what's going to happen now. We'll have to see. I'll press pause. Okay, just back, and we can see that this euro did get to my trend line there, and it's breached it. But really, what I needed to have been is to have got in. If it had let me in today, lower down, so by now I would have banked some, and then just sitting on the remainder, and that would be the ideal. But now it's got up there and even breached it. There's not really much I can do with that. So it's really just a case. But when I last did the video just 2 weeks ago, the P&L was sitting at, I think it was saying 3,000 or so, and now it's 7,500. Plus I'm in this short from last night on the S&P. I've tightened the stop, so maximum risk is about 100 quid on that. But so I'm sitting an open P&L of 7,000 or so. But that's just it. Sometimes just sitting on the trades can pay. But I'm still expecting that P&L will carry on. It will go up and will come down. But as far as the intraday trades are concerned today, it's not going to happen. So I'm going to leave you to it. Hopefully you've taken a bit from today. Watching across the currency pairs is important. as I was flicking through them, because what you want to see is, if you've got a market going up like the euro, you want to see the others going up. But really, the pound hasn't really done anything since this morning. It's up overall since overnight prices, but as you can see, all day, this was the 8 o'clock bar. It's really just gone sideways overall. So no real follow through there with some of these others. I can go through the others, but there's no point now. So the Euro's had the best run. Looking at, if I take this out to the daily chart now, but sometimes you have to admit defeat, that it just didn't let you in. But as I said, always take a positive from it and say, well, at least my analysis was right. I shall leave you to it. I'll be back next week for the usual videos. Take care for now. Enjoy your weekends. By all means, always welcome any comments or any questions in the boxes below, as always. Take care. See you next week.